to Nightmares, you guys. It is so nice to see everybody today. I'm going to say a few words about how this goes. This is a show about, as you may have guessed from the title, nightmares. We are going to talk to some of your favorite people about their worst dreams. We are going to chit-chat a little bit. We're going to bring people up. We're going to talk about it. After we talk about their dream, I'm going to pull this screen down, and I am going to show them a drawing I made of said terrible dream. They can take that drawing home. They can frame it. They can ritually burn it. Whatever makes them happy.
I have mine in my house, your drawings in my dream, and people come to my room and they're like, why is there a picture of Mike Pence in one of colleges? I have a lot of explaining to do.
I'm a little surprised you didn't burn that for the good of society, honestly.
I can't burn your beautiful art, I just can't burn.
I'm going to draw you another drawing of gynecologist Mike Pence, which was a nightmare she really had, and a nightmare I think we are all about to have.
Mike Pence as OBGYN.
Yeah. I think we should de-vision board this, make it an image reality, and then burn it. All right, our first guest is a comedian. He is a cartoonist for The New Yorker. He is the host of a podcast called Is There Something in This? I probably just butchered that podcast name because I'm awesome. Please welcome to the stage, Jason Chatfield. Hello. Take a seat.
Hi, good. How are you? I saw you on Instagram, and I didn't know that you were going to have such a fun accent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't hear the accents on Instagram.
Melbourne Comedy Festival.
I did do the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Used to this accent.
It took me a second to figure out that your accent was Australian until you said, yeah. But, yeah, I know. I love it. Melbourne is amazing. It's like San Francisco on a whole other continent is how I felt about it.
Less homeless people. But more racist, so, you know.
Yeah. You win some, you lose some. Yeah.
San Francisco has like libertarian racists, you know, like it's like they're like, yeah, you know, we're like just.
Wait, isn't that just Google?
It's full on Ayn Rand, free for all. Not to bring us on too much of a tangent, but. There's so Bitcoin. One of the ways that it started was this group of people called the Seasteaders, and they want to build a whole nation at sea. So there's no laws, libertarian paradise, and.
Wait, like Waterworld?
Yeah, like Waterworld, like voluntary Waterworld.
Voluntary Waterworld.
And the way they eventually also want to expand their liberty onto land, and the way that they want to do that is by just moving a bunch of them to like islands where there are people.
Well,
then just like kind of getting enough of them there that they can like basically control the whole system, vote all the native people out, and then just like rule it with liberty, I guess. And I feel like that is a very complex form of racism.
But how are they going to fulfill their hard-on for trains if they're on islands?
I don't know. I think I think it's going to have something to do with technology in the future. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I'm team societal collapse at this point.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason.
That was a pretty good tangent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I can't wait to get into your nightmare.
No,
Yes.
it's fine.
Tell us your nightmare, and I really, I was going to say I hope it's about societal collapse, but it's totally cool if it's not.
I must admit, because I love the idea of this, and as a comedian, when you said, tell us your worst nightmare, I was like, all right, write something. Like new. And then I realized I've been writing down my dreams for some time.
Right.
And this is, I don't tell anyone this, what an embarrassing thing to do. But I write them down as because you know how you don't remember a lot of them? When I do remember them, I write them down like in bed while I write them in the phone.
Right.
And then when I read them back again, like months later, I'm like, what the hell was which drug combination?
Yeah.
Z-Quil and something. And, and this is what, I didn't give you this one, this is a very brief one. This is from the 3rd of October, 2018. I was awoken this morning by a nightmare. I was running around a train carriage.
Liberty.
Getting murdered by Elon Musk.
Still liberty.
Yeah.
Chasing me with a flamethrower. which ended abruptly with me stabbing him in the shins with a screwdriver. The Dream Dictionary said, because I look up the Dream Dictionary.
Of course you do.
I would have had that dream because maybe I'm not making the full use of my talents.
Which part of that
Yeah.
did the Dream Dictionary, like, was it Elon Musk? Was it stabbing? Was it shins?
Death on
Like-
a train. It's a death on a train.
Okay. I thought maybe there was, like, some symbolism to shins that I didn't know about.
Got
It's
it.
very reductive, the Dream Dictionary.
Yeah, it really is. You know why? Because they make that shit up.
I don't want to believe that.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that.
The ones for the Dream Dictionary explanations for teeth are good. I
Oh,
always
the
have dreams about
Yeah.
teeth
falling
falling
out?
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
they always feel pretty right on.
Has
Yeah.
anyone here not had like a dream that all their teeth was falling out? Teeth were. Shut up.
The climate chair is very comfortable.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. I'm having a stroke. No, I'm glad we're all on the same page in terms of tooth dreams. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit's real. Probably because we maybe all have memories of losing our teeth as children, and also because it's such an awful thought.
What is it meant to mean? The falling teeth. falling
That
out.
you're not that you're lying, that you're dissimulating. It
Hmm.
means a lot of things. I don't know. My dad doesn't have teeth anymore. That's a thing you guys know now.
But you
Dream
still have
Dictionary.
parents.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
What's that?
You have parents. Though.
I do have
They no
parents.
teeth.
Yes, I do have parents. I sure do for now. All right, let's get to your main dream.
I have
though.
Okay.
parents too, which
Yeah.
you'll come to understand.
Okay.
Yeah. This one, this one was from August 27th, 2018. So this is relatively fresh. And August 27th, 2018, that's a pretty auspicious date that you'll come to realize why.
Is this Australian Independence Day?
No. So we killed everyone and took
Right.
the place for ourselves. No, that's January. This is the first time I did a guest spot at the Comedy Cellar, which will inform what happened. I was very excited about it, but then something else happened that night which overshadowed it, which will come to... All right. So the dream begins, and again, I'm writing this as I woke up, so forgive any insanity. I'm on a riverboat in a big, wide river. Looks like the Mississippi down the Louisiana end, you know. My mum is driving the boat. And we're slowly moving downstream. Everything's beautiful everywhere. Every scene is stunning, like a perfect photograph. I want to take a photo of everything. I look to my right and I see an enormous, amazing white waterfall behind a dock full of other boats. So far, so good, right? My feet are planted on the deck and I'm stuck in place. I can't move. I'm dumbfounded by how picturesque the whole scene is. And then a soft Technicolor rainbow mist is forming below the waterfall. A lot of detail. I didn't take any drugs. I take out my phone to take a picture, but as I go to take it, we jerk forward, and I realize there are a family of crocodiles approaching the boat.
That feels very Australian.
Such an Australian cliche.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've just slipped
Really?
straight into a stereotype.
Yeah.
And I didn't even
Throw
mean
another
to.
If this is about
crocodile on the
shrimp,
Barbie,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Barbie on the boat. Paul Hogan's there. Anyway. I turn around to go up to stand with Mum high up on the crow's nest. The riverboat has a crow's nest, by the way.
If you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have known riverboats don't have crow's nests.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a
I don't
crow's nest.
fact check your dreams.
I do. When a crocodile jumps up and snaps at us, snapping at me, it's nipping at my ankles. A few more of them jump up and keep snapping their jaws at us when we eventually pull into a safe little cove. I have no idea how we're steering in the crow's nest. We're out of the way of the crocodiles. So far it's gone from nightmare to dream. This is not bad.
Okay.
No, we're now still.
This has an arc. This dream really has an arc.
You
Yeah, I don't
told
have a
me.
lot of narrative
Yeah.
dreams.
This
in
is the
way.
most detailed dream I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
This is why you're getting the earful of it. I turn around and see my dad sitting on the boat.
Oh, symbolism.
Okay, now you should know something right now. My mum and dad haven't seen each other for many years. They hate each other very much.
Okay.
They divorced many years ago.
They are rarely on boats together.
I don't think they've ever been on a boat together. Their marriage was a rocky boat. She hates my dad. There's no way he's in the same place as my mum, but they're on the same boat. We're all on the same boat.
Have you read their diaries?
Oh, I wish they had. Oh my God. Can I just say so my dad had a stroke a few years ago. This is true. He's fine now. Here's the phone call I got from my mum at 3 a.m. Your father's had a stroke. No shit. I have the voicemail.
Laughing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
3 a.m. a voicemail. I wake up to that voicemail.
I'm a little bummed out by how much that makes me like your mom.
Yeah.
She's a mess. Anyway, I love her, but yeah. I have no idea where Dad came from. As we watch the sunset from the cove, he explains why he gets so angry at sports. And explains to Mum why he is so angry at sports. And she rolls her eyes because we're finally in a nice, relaxing place and this is all he can talk about. Then eventually, we turn the boat around because it's getting dark. We head back the way we came, but now it's snowing, and there's snow everywhere. It's freezing cold as we head back up the river, and now it's just me and Mum. Dad's fucked off somewhere. I don't know where he is. We're alone. We're driving this houseboat. Now it's a houseboat.
Also very Australian.
With a crow's nest.
Yeah.
And once we get to what seems to be the end of the river, we see a horse and carriage in the snow.
There's so many modes of transportation here.
Yeah. It's all of a sudden we're on the horse, trotting through a saloon door together, out of the snow. Now I'm inside a saloon with Dad!
Damn.
I don't know where Dad came from. He came back. I'm looking at my phone, swiping through all the photos I took of the boat trip with the waterfall and the crocodiles and the snow everywhere in the river. I seem to have taken photos of every single thing that just happened. I don't remember taking any of these photos. Then somehow I had to go back down the river the same way in the same riverboat, this time with Dad. We have to pick up some money for him. Suddenly, we're on land and we're walking into some guy's hotel room and he's on the bed duct taping stacks of money to himself.
That's a cool hobby. Yeah.
You ever had that one?
I haven't had that experience. I have never had stacks of money. I'm a fucking comedian, man. Don't rub it in. Yeah.
I feel you.
That's basically my ASMR.
Yeah.
Just the sound of duct tape on skin in a hotel room. Yeah. Okay. This is where it gets a little weird. Louis C.K. is there.
Oh, no.
But he's playing a customs agent, and all of a sudden it all becomes a film set. Then I'm talking to Dad, who turns into Louis C.K.
Oh my God, that is a fucking nightmare.
Right? Who tells me what the American dream is all about.
Showing your dick.
Hey, you want to see the American dream? All right. I'm walking around with him, listening to him talk before I try to explain how impractical Tony Soprano is.
Which is definitely...
I guess that's one way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the adjective that comes to mind when I think about Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Yeah, very impractical man.
The 27th of August was a Sunday night. It was Monday morning. That night, I had done the Comedy Cellar. I was very excited. Walked around the corner. Dave Attell and the manager were out the front saying, hey, you'll never guess who you just missed. And that was the night Louis decided to pop up after 9 months or whatever.
Tell him Large Marge sent you.
Yeah. And I literally missed it. He was walking down the street as I got there. And it was a whole thing. So it was in my brain. Right. And now he's my dad.
You could just...
It's not good. This isn't good. We look over at a guy on the bed, and he's trying to smuggle some foreign currency in a box. And I think he's the guy me and my dad were meant to get money from all along on this little trip down the river. He leaves with the money. Then Louis leaves. I'm now in a small tin boat, alone, trying to beat a crocodile to death.
Oh, no.
With a baseball bat. but it knocks me into the water.
Oh no!
And I wake up.
Oh, so right before the crocodile ate you.
Yeah.
Here's my theory about your dream.
Yeah.
I think this is your immigration story.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever tried to get a green card? It is
yeah.
fraught.
Yeah, there are so many modes of transportation. Yeah. It involves your parents.
There's
it
a
involves
wall.
a lot of money. Yeah. It involves Louis C.K., which,
creepy dudes.
Dick things aside, I'm sure represents some level of success before. And, what's more American than a baseball bat? You're using a baseball bat to beat a crocodile. I mean, you may as well just throw, like, a pie at Paul Hogan.
Like a meat pie?
No, an apple pie.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be of service. Yeah, and now you're here.
Well, yeah. So that's a real dream I had, and I'm sorry I had to put it on you guys now.
No, I'm glad I know about this dream.
I'm excited.
I can show you a picture I drew.
So
of
you
your
drew
dream.
this dream?
I
yes.
did.
Wow. Okay.
This
is the first time I'm seeing
like
it
I
as well.
said, this is all going to be very physically awkward,
right.
and we're just going to have to deal with it together.
Oh
My
God.
The picture I drew.
I'm starting to see the Louis C.K. baseball bat connection more.
Yeah.
There's a strong phallic thread going through this.
Absolutely, but when is there not?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you this picture again.
You.
Like, keep it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Here you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jason.
All right. You guys, our next guest is one of my favorite comedians, and people really in the world. She is amazing. She is the creator of a show called Women of a Certain Age, which just taped their first special, and she's great. Please welcome to the stage, Carole Montgomery.
Yay! Woo! Welcome, Carole.
Boy, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Do you ever get joke premises in a dream?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
And then I probably what every comic does go, at least I do this, I go, I'll remember it.
Yeah.
And then I never fucking remember it. And it pisses me off because I'll literally go, and you're like, you'll remember the joke, and I'll go, okay, remember the punchline. Just remember the punchline. Never fucking remember any of it.
See, I sleep with my phone like a security blanket.
Right.
And I have all these notes tapped out in just like, and you know how it autocorrects into gobbledygook, it's just nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
So half of it is just strings of letters. But the best thing I found that I had written down was William Wegman eaten to death by Weimaraners. He died as he lived, fucking a hunting dog.
Oh my God.
That's a great joke. That's a great joke.
I mean, I just want to keep that mental image for myself.
That is pretty
also
amazing.
liberty. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, how has your week been?
It's been a little stressful.
Yeah.
I try not to watch television.
Mm-hmm, that's fair.
Because I was away this weekend in Allentown.
Ooh. Hey, really good thrift stores in Allentown.
Seriously. Really good thrift stores.
And
actually, it's a very progressive town because I went there thinking, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then it was actually I was quite surprised at how good it was. But like I posted that picture on Instagram, so we had a fundraising. So we were in a hotel. We were in like the Ramada, was it the Ramada Inn? And so there's a picture. They put it up in the banquet room. So there's a picture of all the rooms. Outdoor pool fitness center, and somebody had put a piece of paper that said comedy and pointed to the stairs. Yeah, so one day, 1 week I'm taping a TV special, and then I'm doing fucking comedy.
Comedy stairs.
Comedy stairs. It was I was a little stressed out.
My husband found our daughter a Lily Pulitzer shift in a thrift store in Allentown.
Oh, no, I was in the thrift stores. They're pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
I mean, definitely not a town to feel awesome about everything, but definitely a good town to feel good about your bargains.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a Jew, I'm very much about a lot of dollar stores in Allentown. A lot of dollar stores.
Yeah.
And a lot of shit.
Yeah. What about so as a mom, do you have a lot of dreams about your kid?
Not really. I mean, he's a grown man now. He's 27, but
Right.
So he's still my baby, though.
Aww,
He will always be my baby. He's like 8 feet tall now, and he's still my baby. But I think the only dreams I've ever had about him, the worry, like I don't go to. He just moved out like 6 months ago for like the 5th time, and I finally gotten used to not checking on him.
Right.
Like what I used to do when he lived in L.A. is I would go to Facebook when I'd see the little green dot on Facebook Messenger. I'd go, he's okay,
Right.
he's on Facebook, he's alive.
Aww.
So I've gotten used to it. But yeah, no, I think it's just this, the fear every parent has. What's going to happen to my kid? Is they going to be okay? So that, and of course, I feel terrible for you because you have your child in this world right now. So she's not living till 12.
I know.
Through 12, she's done at 12. So.
I keep wondering if like every year that passes, I feel like there's a little bit more of a chance that she'll remember the world that was. You know what I mean?
No, I agree
when
with
the
you.
inevitable
Absolutely.
happens, I want her to have enough memories of having had like a house and enough food to eat,
Right.
like to keep her warm, like in the nuclear winter.
Yes,
Like,
I agree with you.
yeah.
I totally.
I
will
also
keep
want her to
warm
be
too.
like big enough to fucking run.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
kick somebody's ass.
Yeah,
I will teach her
seriously.
how to kick people's
Yeah,
asses.
she's just about the right height to like bite somebody in the dick. So I think that's helpful.
that could go either way though.
It could. It
She
really
could-
it
yeah.
really could.
Seriously, why did you say that?
Good night. Yeah. Well, on that note, let's talk about your nightmare because.
I have to say, he gave such an elaborate dream.
Yeah.
And I don't remember my dreams at all.
Who remembers their dreams in that much detail except for Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a little anal, and love you. But so this is the I've had, it was kind of like a mishmash of my dreams. So the recurring dream I have is that it starts off normal, whatever, just spending the day, and somehow that I become either a superhero or I'm part of a group of cops, and first I'm chasing somebody, and then they're chasing me. And the chasing thing comes up in all of my dreams. And then I also end up, sometimes when this happens, I end up in this old house that I like when I walk through the house, it's like I lived there before. Mm-hmm. So when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I want to go back to that house. Like it really feels like I lived there. And it's literally like an old Victorian house I never lived in. I lived in an apartment on Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn.
Right.
So, so it's just, I don't know what that means at all.
Is it like Ditmas Park Victorian, like a little creepy, or is it like nicer than, or is it like one of the nice Ditmas Park Victorians?
Oh, that's interesting. You know what? I think it could have been because a friend of mine lived in a house like that, in that type of Victoria.
Right.
So, and it was one of those, you go up the stairs and there's all these great rooms, and then you keep going and there's an attic and there's a basement and stuff. But yeah.
Yours is a nice place? Like you're happy there?
Oh, I'm totally happy there. Like I walk in there and I'm like, oh, this is so and I'm just like, wow, this is great. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm in my shitty fucking apartment.
This is the most fascinating thing to me about this is that, like, your house is supposed to represent, the house in your dream is supposed to represent, like, the many chambers of your brain. That's what, people are always having these dreams where they find, like, an extra room in their house.
Right.
And it's some unexplored part of their personality.
Right.
But, like, all the houses in my dreams are absolutely terrifying.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like sub-basement after sub-basement and, like, broken glass and, like, no windows and the light is very wrong.
Wow.
And all these like terrible things, and I kind of just thought everybody was like that, but apparently you like your brain. And I'd like to know what that's like.
It's weird. I mean, the house. When I think about the house, I must have maybe lived there in a past life, and there was something really wonderful that happened.
Right.
But it's everything opposite of what you described your house as.
Right.
It's warm, and there's
Right.
it just feels so great, and it's my house, and it's.
That's pretty awesome. Do you ever have and just to take a little tangent, do you ever have like like performance anxiety dreams?
No.
Interesting.
I've been doing it for 40 years.
Right. Even in the beginning, or just like?
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't remember a lot.
Right.
So I don't think I had. I never had performance anxiety.
Yeah. I never have cartooning dreams because holy shit, that would be boring.
That would be scary.
It'd be so boring. Like, oh no, I spilled some ink again. Like, but I do this like sort of stand up adjacent thing where like I show cartoons and I tell stories. And I had a dream that I got booked at a sorority.
Oh, jeez.
And I went out, and I hadn't brought any of my stuff. I hadn't brought a laptop. I hadn't brought a projector. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to, like, say some stuff and see how this goes.
Just go up there and be like, woo!
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly.
Improv.
Yeah. And for 5 minutes, it was going great. Like, they were drunk. They were loving it. And then all of us, and I was like, I'm the god of chaos. And then, like, all of a sudden it turned, and they were like looking at me with their eyes, and like everything was very bad. And then I was being chased, and I had to like boogie out of there.
You were being chased because you did a bad comedy set.
I did a bad comedy set, and then I got to my car, and they had set it on fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why does everyone have more vivid dreams than me? Did I not take the right drugs when I was growing up?
I feel like maybe. Remember, you just work everything out on stage, or like.
Okay,
yeah?
I could see that. Yeah, I get my aggression out pretty much a lot on stage.
Right.
So I do.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that could be it. That I get all that anger out while I'm dealing with the people.
Right. That's I feel like that's got to be healthier. Than having sub-basements full of broken glass.
I also stab people if they talk.
Right.
So that's.
As long as it's externalized.
Exactly. Stabbing is such a. You should all try it.
At least once. Did you know that legally everybody gets one free stabbing?
Yeah. We're going to pass that around.
I had that statement notarized. You want to see your picture?
Sure, right. I do. I want to see.
Let's...
Okay, let me move out of the way so I don't get hit. Oh, I want to see what this is. Oh, it's...
All right.
Oh.
All right. Says, wait, what if this... Says, wait, what if this is one of those awful dreams that means I'm well adjusted?
Oh, my God, that's hysterical. That is hysterical. That is wonderful.
Carole, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys, we're going to take a brief intermission, relax, get a drink. We will be back with many more bad dreams.
Bad dreams.
Thank you.
Yes, so we're going to bring up our next guest. She is a comedian. She has a podcast called Love About Town.
Yay.
Her name is Kenice Mobley. Welcome to the stage.
Kenice, have a seat.
How's it going?
I think it's on now.
We have many choices.
We have
of
so
mics.
many microphones.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
There we
The
go.
phallic thread runs through
the
show.
Yeah, next time, like pretty much every show we've done, something fucked up has happened to Kate's mic. So it's just a running curse at this point. I think next time we're just going to hang like a forest of mics from the ceiling.
Visually, I think that looks cool.
It would look nice. Yeah, dreamlike almost. Yeah. So how are you doing? How's your week been?
My week has been pretty good. I do need to say we have other things in common, but my mother also wrote like an erotic thing. And she asked me to proofread it for her. And
my God, that's so weird.
I was like,
that's such a weird specific thing.
Yes, it was. I was in grad school, and my mom was like, Kenice, I'm trying out a thing. I want you to read it and let me know what you think. And it was like, I did not know any of this about you or that you were into these things. But,
or want to.
Yeah. Well, my mom and I have a very weird relationship where she tells me entirely too much about her sex life.
I feel like this is the kind of lightning that should only strike once. Like this is
it'll happen again.
I mean, everybody thinks they want cool parents, but no one really wants to hear their mom say the word finger banging. That's
wow. Your mom didn't use like overly flowery language to describe finger banging.
No.
She just said finger banging.
It was the banging of a finger.
Yeah, my mom told at a slumber party when I was like 13. My mom told all my friends what finger banging was. It was really gross.
Wow.
She was like,
"Were you guys Unitarians?
Were we Unitarians?" No.
Do Unitarians finger bang? Is that like the reputation that
Yes.
Unitarians finger bang?
Unitarian Universalists, they
Unitarian.
believe everyone should get finger banged.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay, cool. I didn't know, and now I'm
No,
happy I
my
know
sister.
that.
So we were Unitarian for a little while when I was a kid. I would
You
not
have a
finger
Unitarian
bang
vibe, yeah.
in the context of this church, but
good.
they did have like a sex ed thing that you could take, and my sister took it when she was like, yes. Very hippy dippy progressive.
Okay.
So my sister did this like sex ed thing through the Unitarian church, and then she went to work at Stop and Shop, and then she got slutty, and then she had a baby when she was 17.
Is the Stop and Shop relevant to the sluttiness?
That's the thing. My
Okay.
mother.
I'm sorry. I was just
my
like,
mother blamed both Unitarians and Stop and Shop for turning my sister into a whore.
okay.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't her parenting.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Of course not.
So yeah, everybody feel weird? You're on our side.
Wait, can we just say really quick a few other super weird things that Kenice and I have in common?
Yes.
Okay, so both comedians that have a background in human resources, which
Yes.
are not two things that naturally go together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I work in human resources. Hey.
Both very short. We can
Yes.
talk and make direct eye contact. with
Every
each other,
other
which
person, it's
feels
like-
really
Yeah.
amazing. Yes.
You're both really good at wearing like cute dresses.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah,
have similar.
we have similar tastes. We've swapped clothing.
Yeah. That's
worked out.
excellent. Oh, all right.
And,
my head-
and let's see if our nightmares are similar.
Yeah.
Potentially. I would love. I don't want you to have this nightmare because it's unpleasant for me, but I
Okay.
would like to know what the similarities are. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I have it written down if you need to read it.
Okay.
Okay, here you go.
I did send it to you in a very long Facebook message.
Right.
So I appreciate you printing this out.
Of course.
Okay, so the dream starts, and I'm on the back of a motorcycle. There's a man driving the motorcycle. Is that what he's driving? You drive a motorcycle? Yeah.
Sure.
He's also riding it, but he's
you guide a motorcycle.
guiding it. Yes, he is guiding the motorcycle. He's wearing a black leather jacket, of course, and like a cool helmet, and my arms are around him, and we're going through a downtown area. It's like DC in that there are all these like municipal buildings, white marble everywhere, but it's not DC. I know specifically it's not DC. And we're riding along, and then suddenly the sound drops out entirely. And these big, it's like rain, but it's like thicker, and it has a slight pinkness to it. And it's coming down, and everyone's running. Everyone's running in all directions, just trying to avoid these globs, because if these globs hit you, you completely disappear. So I'm running. I've lost Motorcycle Man entirely, and I run up these like a set of stairs into like I can't tell if it's a courthouse or a library, but it looks like one of those buildings. And there's a door, and I go into it. A bunch of people have gone into this door to get away from these globs that are falling and making everyone disappear. So this room is dark. We're all huddled in this room, but we're kind of huddled around the outside of it. Someone's left the door open just a little bit, so there's a slash of light like cutting through the room. And everyone's like kind of whispering, but like just trying to be quiet, trying to stay out of trouble, and communicating like what's going on. It's an emergency, apocalypse level event. Shit's happening. This guy starts freaking the fuck out, and he's screaming and making a lot of noise. I don't know exactly how this happens. I end up behind him, and I'm not even making the conscious decision, but like I'm watching myself put my hands on either side of his head and like twisting his neck until I hear the bones break.
Like a true HR bad bitch.
Sometimes a situation has to get fixed, okay?
Yeah.
Some people get fired for reasons. It happens. This man was fired from this mortal coil. It's whatever. And like his body falls like into the slash of light. It's very dramatic. I recognize how dramatic this is. This was right before I went to film school, so like I hear it. But like his eyes fall right into that slash, and so they're like illuminated by this slash of light that's going through the center of the room. And everyone's shocked and quiet, but like some of the tension has been released. Like it's like it's not great, but like whatever.
The problem is solved.
Yeah, the problem has been solved. But it doesn't matter because then and I for some reason I can't look at the door, but I'm looking at the ground and you can see this dramatic opening of the door in light, and you see this silhouette in the doorway. The lights come on. We're in a classroom, and there's this girl, like a little girl, like I don't know how. When you think little girl, maybe you're thinking 5. It's like a 10-year-old girl. And she's dancing in the middle of it, but her face is, terrified. She's, somehow I know that she's not controlling her body, that she's being forced to, perform this dance in front of everyone, and it looks deeply painful that her body's being, jerked around. It's it's beautiful ballet, but it also looks horrifying because she doesn't want to be doing this. And I hear, bones snapping again. And then I look down, and my body is, taking me to the center of this classroom. And then I wake up. That's my nightmare.
Oh, my God.
And I had this nightmare a couple times in, college and grad school.
We don't have anything in common. That's some really sick shit, Kenice. Sorry.
Okay, I should have picked a funnier one where I'm beating out.
No, I'm joking. It's
crocodiles.
Yeah.
Crocodiles.
I feel like you, on the other hand, might have some sub-basements with broken glass.
I do. You were talking about that, and I was like, oh my God, I have a whole geography that is specific to my dreams, and it's almost like how different superhero movies happen, but they're all within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have a neighborhood in my dreams. It's in Los Angeles. It's off Ventura Boulevard. Don't worry about it. And there's multiple stories to this, and in different dreams take place in different rooms of this house. So yeah, I was holy cow.
Yeah, because this is no offense,
okay.
The most fucked up dream
I
think we've had on the show so far.
God. Wow.
It's
Yay!
I expected everyone's nightmares to be like that, but okay. Just
Kenice, not to rub it in, but this is a show where we have comedians on. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's also the most cinematic, and I feel
Yes,
they were
beautiful.
cinematic.
There was Letterboxd. I didn't mention that, but yeah.
And I feel like there are cinematic antecedents to some of the Pink Rain from Ghostbusters 2. I feel like the oh man, what was was it the dancing thing? I don't know. There was something else that was a lot classier than Ghostbusters 2 that occurred to me, and now I'm forgetting what it was. But either way, a lot of really heavy imagery happening here. But you went to film school, right?
Yeah, this was the semester before I went to film school.
Right. And so do most of your dreams have this kind of
No, very
vivid
dramatic,
imagery?
very visual, yeah.
Right. It's fucking bonkers, man. Did you dance? Were you a ballet dancer?
I mean, I had to take dance and gymnastics throughout my childhood. So,
right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And someone was forcing me to dance. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was my mom. She's crazy. She's not crazy. She's
I feel like making you take dance classes is still not as bad as the sex book, though.
True.
Yeah.
But she also, recently, she was like, I've never been to a sex store. I want you to take me to a sex store. She showed us, Sex in the City growing up. I saw Unfaithful with my mom.
Did she have female friends?
No.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah. Was she just trying to grow herself some female friends?
Yeah, she birthed them, and then I am here.
No, man, no. I feel like you have similarities with each of us for different
the
fucked
really
up things.
dark stuff. And
I don't know.
Clothes
my dad grew himself some female friends in the form of me and my sister, which is way worse when it's your dad. So yeah, I learned a lot of things that I didn't really need to know, from a parent. And maybe that's why we have such fucked up house dreams.
Our parents!
You guys, we
Yes!
Yay!
Now I can save money on therapy. I'll still go to therapy. I'm never going to stop going to therapy.
Maybe I should start going to therapy.
You should.
Yeah. Is it
great.
fun?
I like it.
Well,
my therapist is a total bro.
What is it? You're just I'm feeling really sad, and he's like, "Don't do that, dog."
Right.
And he's like, you've described her before. She sounds like she fucking sucks. And I'm like, she does suck. And then I feel so much better.
Don't be her friend.
Yeah.
I think are you sure he's a therapist?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I pay him.
Right.
Insurance.
Or is he just a guy with
thing.
a couch?
He might. I mean.
To be fair, a guy with a couch is pretty
useful
good qualification. Yeah. Well, shit. You want to see your drawing?
Oh my God, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. feel like I need a sound effect when I do this now. Like I feel like I need to have a woo, like glitter. Glitter needs to happen. All right.
Amazing.
Oh my God, I want it so bad.
Yeah.
That's a good Kenice too.
Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry, but the apocalypse is no place for dudes who can't shut up. Which I think we all know to be true.
I like it.
Awesome, Kenice, thank you so much. This is for you.
Yay!
I also feel like we should have had like a crown for like we should start giving prizes. That's a good thing we could introduce to this show is the giving of prizes. Like
yes,
like most cinematic, most deeply fucked. Like yeah. It is not too early in the show to keep giving prizes.
All right.
So our next guest is an author, is an activist. She is a world-class level Schwitzer. If you ever get the chance to go to the Russian baths with Jenny Boylan,
Yay!
you should do it. Jenny Boylan, come on up. Oh,
Hi, everybody.
hi. How are you doing?
I am fantastic.
Yeah. So you're a person.
Hi.
Hi. Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny. Jenny K.
No, we met before the show.
Well, all right.
I was like in a deep conversation and looking upset and just turned
I
to
just
Jenny
kinda
and I was
barged
like,
right
oh,
in.
you know how sometimes men are really bad. You know?
Right.
I'm like, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Because really, sometimes they are the nightmare.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
No, don't start with me.
Yeah. Sometimes they walk around just being nightmare-y. So yeah. I have some questions about before we get into your
what
dream.
you got?
I have some questions about and this is what I ask to everybody who has kids is if you have dreams about your kids.
You know, I used to. I don't anymore. Although, can I just say, today is my daughter's 25th birthday.
Yay!
So that was 25 years ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
When's
Yeah.
your daughter's birthday?
See what?
I said congratulations on your
Yeah,
daughter's
yeah,
birthday.
yeah, yeah. So she.
What'd
so,
you get her? You get her a nice present?
We sent flowers.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the thing. Once they're like 25,
Right.
you're kind of off the hook. Yeah, flowers.
Yeah. That seems legit. I'm gonna try that when Tug turns 7.
Yeah, and she was.
Yeah. I'm gonna get her an edible arrangement and just watch her cry.
She was in the city this weekend, and I got her like designer cupcakes. But
Nice.
but she and her friends were up, all of her like crazy friends, and then they left. But they left one cupcake.
Uh-huh.
So can I just say later?
Uh-huh.
This is kind of not the dream part, although. So I've got this one cupcake, and it's like a cupcake. It's like that tall, and like that much of it is icing. And my friend Tim, our friend Tim, came over that night because he called out of nowhere. He said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just hanging out. I bought a steak, a big T-bone steak, too much for one woman, almost too much for two people, as it turns out." Anyway, this is Saturday night, and the kids are gone, and suddenly my friend Tim is there, and I'm like, "Well, let's have the steak." We had this big juicy steak at step 1. Step 2. Split the cupcake in half, and we have 2 Vicodin, which we kind of chop up in little pieces on top of the fluffy cupcake. So it's Vicodin cupcakes,
This
and
sounds
then
like
we
a-
spend the rest of the
This
night
sounds like a very
watching
good dream.
Ultraman.
No,
on
this
TV.
really happened.
Yeah.
This really.
No,
Oh,
this
this
is,
happened.
This is actually the reality. The dream
my
is
God.
the dream is not this interesting, actually. Yeah, no.
I didn't know Vicodin cupcakes were an option.
I didn't know it was a thing. That's the thing. It was there. We reached out for it. Suddenly, there it was. The Vicodin cupcakes
Look,
and Ultraman.
Look, I need you to know that I'm a little hurt that you had Vicodin cupcakes
And I didn't
you
call
didn't
you.
call you. Yeah, you know how much I love
I-
cupcakes, and you could guess how much I love Vicodin.
Right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's not like the only time that'll happen.
That's good to know. Yeah, bring them to the Russian
Actually,
baths
everybody
next
everybody
time.
who's here is invited next time
Yeah.
to do that. But it's a lot of cupcakes.
I was so sort of like soft and woogly after we went to the Russian baths that
Oh,
time
the
that
Russian baths.
I was very easily talked into getting like a multi-pass to the Russian baths,
Yeah. Oh
which
my
is
God.
a fucking scam.
It
you
is
guys.
a scam. It is a scam.
Yeah, I like. Look, if you ever want to rook me out of anything, like wait until I've come out of a sauna.
But that's the East Village Dream Date.
Yeah.
So it's Belgian ales at Burke Castle, and then you go to the Russian baths. You go to the series of ever hotter rooms, and then Indian food.
Yeah, and then you sleep like a.
the next morning you are you have digestive issues. You're really hungover and you're clean.
Yeah. Sounds like my 20s.
In that order. That's really good.
Except for the clean part. All right, let's talk about your dream.
The dream. Okay, so this it's funny because this dream is compared to the one that we just heard. Is this really not like a nightmare? It's a dream that's kind of like pretending to be a nightmare, but it was actually really funny in some ways. It was trying to scare me, which it's just weird because a lot of my dreams, I've woken up from a lot of dreams laughing. So I don't know if you've had that experience, but it's very weird. Like I laugh myself awake, and my wife is like, "What?" You're like, and I'm like, "Sorry, my dream was so funny. I laughed myself." She's like, "What?" And that makes her more scared than when I wake up screaming. She's like, "You woke up."
No, laughter in the dark is a fucked up thing to hear.
It was so funny. So this one I didn't actually laugh out of this one, but I should have because anyway. So let's see. So there's a lot of moving pieces in this dream because it's not just a dream. It's very cinematic, and there's a lot of sounds in this dream, including a song. Which, if everything goes just so, I'm going to attempt to
play on the piano.
To play for you, yeah, later. So there's this. It's in black and white. First off, I remember that, and I'm in Transylvania. And I'm walking down this long road, and there's a castle up on the hill. And there's like lightning flashes and like organ music. But I'm hearing this voice singing, and it's like James Taylor. So
that there is a nightmare.
How does that work? Well, anyway, I go up the road, and then here's the castle, and I go inside the castle, and it's kind of like my parents' house, like on the first floor, but there's the staircase, and clearly you have to go down the staircase. And I go down the staircase, and so there's this music. So James Taylor is singing. That's one part of it. Then the music that I'm hearing, the song is like a Cab Calloway song from the 1930s. Which, okay, what's that about? And also there's this. So there's breathing going on. We're going down the stairs. And there's the song that's going on. Da 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 da.
That's fun.
That's like the big band music. And James Taylor is singing the lyrics. And so I go down the stairs, and there's two things. And the first thing I see is it's like an Egyptian tomb, and there's all these like I believe the word is sarcophagi.
All right. I'll allow it.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Honor. So there's all these, Egyptian, coffins and things, but they're shaped. They're a little bit smaller than a human being, and they're like shaped like they've got fluffy, like funny ears. I'm realizing there's an Egyptian version of all of the animals from Winnie the Pooh. So it's like Winnie the Pooh, an owl,
an Egyptian version.
An Egyptian version,
like with a little head stuff.
A little thing.
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, all the time there's. Can I just say there's the and there's also.
Oh my God.
And then and James Taylor is singing, and then the lids of the coffins all open, and the arm and the mummies all sit up. And they kind of come out of the tomb like all Karloffy. And in fact, it is all the characters from Winnie the Pooh. And they've got like gauze.
Yeah, this is definitely hilarious and not terrifying at all.
And they're like coming toward me, and meanwhile, and I'm like, what is that? And I turn around, and there in the corner is an iron lung.
Oh my God.
And inside the iron lung is Mr. Rogers.
Oh, that's like kind of a fun Deus Ex Machina, yeah.
Right.
And so I'm like going over to, and I'm like, what? And he explains, some folks' lungs are on the inside, and some people's lungs are on the outside. That's the moral of the dream.
That's very upsetting. That is very upsetting.
It's a creepy-ass day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. A little song. Some people's lungs are on the inside. Some people's lungs are on the outside.
If you brought a fucking puppet, like...
Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah, man.
Iron lung, meow, meow, meow. So I wake up from this dream. That's kind of it. And I wake up and I wrote this down. And not only that, but I remember the song. And I took a little cassette recorder and went down to, and actually I had this dream in my parents' house. That's probably key.
Right.
And I go down to the piano and I recorded this melody, which I am now prepared to share with you.
Fuck yeah.
Do it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it. Yes.
Can I sit here?
Yeah.
Now,
Amazing.
The
I'm going over here.
The problem
With
with this
Emily.
song is that it's harder to play than I have the talent to play. Are you gonna? Can I just?
Well,
give
we're
you,
definitely going to judge you on your
Yeah,
piano
yeah.
playing.
Can I just give this to you?
Yeah, of course.
Can you hear me? You can hear me.
Yeah.
It's in C minor, which makes no sense, and there's a little riff which I'm not going to be able to play. So this is how it's supposed to go. Remember? See, I can't even do it. Okay. I'm just going to sing it. Ready? In my mind, I'm going to Transylvania. Bats are hanging down from every tree. It's a lot like Scranton, Pennsylvania. Everybody's trying to get free. Mr. Rogers in an iron lung sings a song that nobody else has sung. Mr. Going to Transylvania. Everybody's trying to get free. Mr. Rogers in an iron lung sings a song that nobody else has sung. This time I'm going to Transylvania. Everybody's trying to get free. Everybody's trying to get free.
That's a breakout hit.
The thing I love is you're singing the song about Transylvania, and suddenly, Mr. Rogers in an iron lung. Okay, yeah, that's where I thought the bridge would go. Yeah, exactly.
Man,
Well-
I mean, honestly, I think we should record that as a single. It can be the first Nightmares podcast 7-inch.
Okay.
It's gonna be great.
All right.
I mean, I feel almost weird showing you your art after you
Here-
made a song, but
here it
hey,
comes.
here it comes.
Yes. Well, I mean, the song is definitely going to play better on the podcast than the art will. Yeah.
You make an excellent point.
Maybe we should do a song show.
Right.
Well, but these are beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
kind
Kind
of
of-
Mummy
It
Winnie
is
the
kind of
Pooh.
cute. It's cute.
Time for a little something.
Yeah.
It's
That's
Mommy
something.
the Pooh.
Oh my
Mommy
God.
the Pooh. Mommy, 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 old bear.
Aw.
I'm gonna have nightmares based on your
my-
nightmares. You realize this?
Yeah.
This is gonna be like a recursive.
Oh my
See,
God.
I still want to
Yeah.
hug that thing.
That
Does
is-
that
yeah,
mean
me
I'm
too,
fucked
exactly.
up inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that little something it's time for is your soul. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow, that's fantastic,
Man,
Emily.
Jenny,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, Jenny, for you, man. All right, you guys. I feel like sirens are appropriate right now because that was a fucking emergency. Our final guest for the evening is a comedian, an author, a man about town. Please put your hands together for Mr. John Hodgman.
Yay!
Hi.
Oh, how are you doing?
Well, I feel fucking betrayed, honestly.
Why?
Because, I was sitting with Jenny that whole time, and everyone who came up had such amazing dreams, and Jenny was like, I can't go up after these people. My dream is so boring. And I was
All right,
like, oh,
Blanche.
maybe that's true,
Right.
because my dreams are all very boring. I mean, in real life,
Right.
I have no interesting dreams whatsoever. And I agreed to do this because I like you guys. But the truth is, like, the recurring nightmare that I have most often is that I am untangling earbuds.
It's real. That's real. Yeah.
Like, I'm untangling earbuds, or an exotic one would be I'm trying to rent a car in a foreign country. Like, I literally had this dream recently where, because I'm an only child and I like to follow the rules, so procedures are very important to me.
Clearly.
And I went to this car rental agency. This one was in the United States, actually. And they're like, "Well, we have these cars," and I'm like, "Well, I'll choose a Ford Focus or whatever." Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Great." And then they walked me around the car so I could see if there was damage. And then I got into the car, and I turned the key, and then I woke up.
Do you ever feel like maybe you just fell into a different part of your life? You know, like
that's the nightmare, is that I'm just living life while I sleep. Like there are dreams like where I'm trying to make airplane reservations on a website, and like I fill out all the things, and then I press continue, and then all the forms go blank, and I have to do it again, which is honestly my worst waking nightmare.
Right? Yeah.
It's the worst.
Well, in a way, it's nice because you get to leave. I mean, I'm sure you've had that happen to you because it's happened to me.
Yeah, it's happened to me.
You get to kind of confront your fears in real. I'm just trying to find a positive.
There's no
spin on this.
There's no positive.
Yeah.
I live and endure all day in minutia, and then I go to sleep and dream about the same garbage.
I
Sounds
get mad.
relaxing.
It's not relaxing.
Right.
Okay. It's very serious here about untangling.
I did have a dream, because you were asking. I did have a dream about my child recently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one?
That's right, I have two. Thanks for remembering. Our younger child, who is a boy child. Mm-hmm. And in the dream, this is very sad. Our children are now 17 and 13. They're disappearing before our eyes. I'm having a lot of dreams, a lot of house dreams, actually, where I used to dream about the house that I grew up in. Now I have dreams where I'm in the house on the Upper West Side, the apartment where we had our kids originally.
Oh,
now we live in Park Slope, but now, when our kids were small, we lived up on the Upper West Side in this apartment. And that dream is a little bit about feeling nostalgic for that time, and worrying that I'm going back to that time.
Right.
And that I've not made any progress in my life whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. That's a common nightmare theme on the show.
Yeah,
actually.
that is definitely a running theme.
Yeah, I told you my dreams are boring. Thanks for reminding me.
No, this one isn't boring. It's
but
just
your
common.
take is original. Yeah.
Yeah, common and boring.
It's an original take on a timeless topic.
Yeah.
So my wife is alive. But in this dream,
congratulations.
You said that a little too vehemently.
Yeah.
No, it's I can text her right now, and maybe there's someone on the other line waiting to write back. But it was a horrible. This was a kind of a nightmare. This happened more recently since I wrote you my dream.
Okay.
But I dreamed that I had to tell my son, who was much younger in the dream, that his mom had died, which is awful.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
But what was even worse about it was that the death of my wife was a scam. She was pretending.
That's a really harsh prank. Yeah.
No, it was like we had come up with a thing where my wife was going to pretend to be dead so we wouldn't have to pay taxes. And then I realized I had to tell my son. And then I was like, oh, this is real for him. I couldn't even tell him the lie.
Man, you really got to commit.
That's probably the most interesting dream.
According to billionaires, there's like way easier ways to not pay taxes.
Yeah, I know. They just kill their wives. Get over it.
Yes, true.
Right.
Dark.
On their seasteading, far ocean libertarian platforms.
Yeah,
exactly.
A little callback.
But before we get into your dream, though, because another recurring thing is that people have the nightmare where you're forced back into some kind of high school situation. I have that nightmare all the time. Right. It always ends with me getting snippy white lady with whoever is telling me I have to take some class. Like, I have a fucking bachelor's degree. I cannot possibly have to take gym. But you said something about something happening to you in real life that was high schooly.
It was college-y. You know, so it was like the dream of like you wake up back in high school, or you wake back up in college, or you're in your dream, you're in college, or you're back in high school or whatever, and they tell you, oh, you didn't do this assignment or you didn't do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So in college, I was a pretentious asshole, and I was studying Latin American literature, Jorge Luis Borges specifically, and I decided that I wanted to go to Buenos Aires to just drink and fuck around.
Right.
And the Spanish department had a travel prize that you could apply for and get money to go to some part of Spanish-speaking or Portuguese-speaking South America. And so I applied for this grant, and I wrote a letter about how I wanted to explore the impact of Borges and contemporary art. It was all bullshit. And then I phonetically translated it into Spanish and sent it in. And I stole money from an actual Latin American studies student. And I got the grant, and I went down there, and I just drank and had a good time. And then I came back, and I was like, oh, that was an amazing life experience. Do they expect me to write something up? Do I have to give a presentation of some kind? And I never knew for sure. And I stopped going to Spanish class because I was afraid that they were going to say,
right,
you have to do something. And I was afraid to ask, like, do I need to write a report on this thing that I got? Because the worst possible scenario could happen, which is they would say, yes, you have to do it, and then I would have to write 500 words, which I do not ever want to do. I would rather strangle myself than do that. So I compromised my own education, and I stole this money, and then I graduated, and they never asked about it. And then years later, I was working at this literary agency here in New York City, and I got a phone call at the front desk, and that's where I was working. I was the receptionist. And I pick up the phone call, and, first of all, that's ridiculous. We don't do that anymore. This shows how old I am, actually picking up the phone when it rings. Stupid. And I pick up the phone, and then I do the double dumb thing, which they say, oh, yeah, is this John Hodgman? Now, these days, if someone said that to me, I would, hang up on, is this John No. I don't know you. I don't want to. But I'm like, well, yes, it is. I'm an important person in my 20s. Yes, thank you for asking me a question. They're like, yeah, well, you may recall that 5 years ago, you won this Bildner Prize for foreign travel in Latin America, and Mr. Bildner is in town.
Oh my God!
And he would like you. He's holding a big lunch at the Parker Meridian Hotel for everyone in New York who has ever won the prize in the past 30 years.
Oh my God!
And he would like to invite you to this lunch, and I'm like, well, that's fine. I enjoy a free lunch. And then the person on the other line said, but he would like some people to say what they did on their travels. And I'm like, oh, and they're like, and he would like you to do that. And then I said, well, I saw this coming. Does it need to be in Spanish? And the person said, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I had not spoken Spanish since I was in college. And so I went back, and I had to finally, it felt cleansing, right? I had to finally write a thing and report on what I had done, which was just fuck around and enjoy Buenos Aires.
So a confession, basically.
A confession. And then I had to translate it into Spanish again. And then I had to say it, and I don't remember how I said it in Spanish, but basically what I said was, this has been something that I thought I had to do a long time ago, and I am doing it now. I used to have nightmares about this happening, and I'm just glad to say to Mr. Bildner that thank you for making my dreams come true. So.
Wow, that's astounding.
It was It truly felt weird.
They played the longest game.
Yeah.
That's a steak best eaten very cold.
Indeed. He's dead now.
Right. Well, joke's on him.
That's right. I survived.
Right. Nightmare in Spanish is pesadilla.
Oh, pesadilla.
Yeah, it's like a
claro
quesadilla, but scarier.
Yeah, right. Less cheese, more screaming. That's my slogan.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your actual nightmare.
So I had boring dreams, truly boring dreams. And this one is also boring. But it was actually the moment that I felt real terror, deep terror, after a long time. because it was the summer of 2017, and I woke up in my bed, and it was pale dawn, and I was like, oh, well, I'm getting older. I can't sleep past 5 o'clock anymore. I might as well grab my phone and start pouring poison into my eyes via Twitter and destroy my mental health for 5 hours. And I started to do that, and then I noticed that there was something, and I don't remember what, but there was something wrong in our bedroom. And as soon as I noticed there was something wrong in the bedroom, I woke up. I was not awake. I had been sleeping and dreaming that I had woken up, and now I woke up in our bedroom. And now it wasn't dawn. It was the middle of the night. And I was like, oh, that was weird. I was just dreaming that I was awake, but now I am awake. Let me get my phone and start pouring garbage into my head via Twitter. And then I noticed something was wrong, and I woke up in my bed. I wasn't awake then. I was still dreaming, but now I was awake. And now it was full morning, and the sun was streaming in, and I was like, it's time for me to pour garbage in my head via Twitter. And then I noticed something was wrong, and I woke up in my bed. Every time that I woke up in my bed in the morning, I noticed something was wrong, and I don't remember what it was that tipped me off that this was not real life. Uh-huh. It was like a sconce was in the wrong place, or the hinges were on the wrong side of the door,
or a Henry Nielsen song was playing. And
who knows? Who knows what it was?
Right.
Like it was just a little thing that was off that I was like, oh fuck, this again. And then I would wake up, and I would wake up in my bed again. This happened. It felt like for dozens of iterations. It just happened again and again and again. And as it went on, I began to feel like I couldn't breathe because I was like, I can't get out of this loop. This is terrible.
Yeah.
And then it was like the 5 stages of grieving. Like I stopped denying, and I went eventually to acceptance, and I thought, this is what my life is now. Like this is how it's always going to be forever.
Right.
At one point, I woke up in my bed, and my wife, in this iteration, was awake. And I said to her, I've been having this terrible dream that I keep waking up and thinking I'm awake, but it turns out I'm not awake. And I don't even know if I'm really awake now. And then I woke up. I was so completely aware of the fact that this was happening and so completely unable to escape it. And there was part of me that was just like, I've had a stroke.
Right.
I'm sorry, Jason, respects to your father. I apologize. I've had a brain injury of some kind, and now I am locked inside my head. This is like, in the real world, I'm twitching out in my bed and my wife is calling 911. Because in my head, this is just going to happen forever and ever and ever and ever. And maybe it still is.
Yes.
It'll still be happening.
It's like an episode of Black Mirror reminds me of.
Yeah. It's a total glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Just over and over. And also possibly a Buffy episode?
Possibly what?
Possibly a Buffy episode?
A Buffy episode? Sure. Yeah.
That's legitimately horrifying.
Well, then let's say hypothetically that I am now awake in the real world.
Let's say that.
I'd rather be asleep. Okay, honestly, given the way the real world is. This happened in the summer of 2017. It was after the election,
right?
And I was like, this was, I think, processing the weird day-to-day trauma of I can't believe this is happening aspect.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
Man. And also just the repetitiveness of it. I've had recursive looping dreams like that. Oh. And I'm not trying to
told you my dreams were boring.
I'm not trying to flex on you about
weird flex.
But that's how I ended up in the glass basement.
Yeah.
For the first time when I was a kid,
I
had this dream.
I don't have shit like that.
I
was in a nice house.
Things
Sorry.
And waking
my house
up.
is beautiful.
Well, maybe if I had
glass basement
wife when I was 9, I would have just woken up pleasantly next to her. No, and it really is I think the thing that happens when you're not sure if you're awake or asleep or not is like one of the most terrifying like things that can happen to you.
Sure.
Like, I mean, like I've definitely had like the sleep paralysis thing where like I think I'm awake but I can't move.
Mm-hmm.
My sister works the night shift. She's a nurse. And her kids, she got home, she like, you know, fell into bed, and her kids were in high school at the time, and like she'd been asleep for like 5 minutes, and they woke her up like, we missed the bus, we need to ride to school. And she just like jerked herself away. She's like, fuck, okay, fine. And like, you know, gets them in the car with them, and then she's so tired and fucked up, she looks at them, she's like, am I awake? Am I awake?
Yeah.
And like I'm like, imagine being that kid and your mom's just screaming like, am I awake or asleep right now? Yeah.
That's how generational trauma is inflicted upon.
I know. Exactly. I feel
it's
like
fun. It's fun.
Oh, we're learning.
But
too much about my
our
family.
consciousness is so fragile.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I was a big fan of Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
And by a big fan, I mean when it came out right after the election, my family would all go to sleep. I would stay up and have martinis and watch Westworld, and then I would suddenly wake up in my bed the next morning and not know how I had gotten there.
Right.
And
I guess
like,
that's one of the best things to do in a blackout is just watch TV. Least consequences.
I was experiencing Westworld the way it was meant to be seen.
Yes.
Just like Dolores, who like would die and wake up in bed the next morning and everything would be
Hey,
reset. You didn't know how
spoilers,
you
man!
got
I
there.
haven't watched this program yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
everyone saw Westworld.
Yeah,
in
I
my
know.
dream, they have.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, this has been a weird night, you guys. You want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to see your picture?
Not really,
All
but
right.
sure.
Let's do it.
No, I mean I want to see your
Emily's got-
illustration, of course. Yeah.
All right, let's do this thing. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
That's a reference to a non-Westworld television
Yes,
show
Let's slow it
yes.
down a
called
little
Russian Doll,
Yes.
which I've not seen.
It's very
I
good.
love it.
I
but
love
I feel
it.
I am hoping that the what's the word I'm looking for? Like just that you know the premise enough. As I'm looking at this
do.
now, I'm like I maybe shouldn't have made a like real specific joke with this because you know it's not.
No,
gonna
it's
be funny
great.
next year. When
I
there's
really
no
love your
Netflix.
pajama choice for me.
Thank you. I have always thought you were a man who had good sleeping costumes. Assumed this. I don't know this about
Costumes?
you. Yes, John.
Yeah, that's right.
Costumes.
I won't go to bed until I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
And I was too lazy to draw that, so stripes it
Striped
is.
pajamas.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Kenice. Thank you, Carole. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, all of you, for coming out. You guys, hang out. We're going to hang out for a little bit.
Stay and
but,
drink.
you know,
Buy some drinks and hang out with us.
Yes, do not go home and go to sleep, because you know what will happen. Thank you. Nightmares is held monthly at the Red Room at KGB Bar in New York City. Live sound and recording by Chris Gersbeck. I'm Emily Flake. Tonight's co-host was Kate Willett. Produced and edited by Shannon Manning for Good Orbit.